Let me take you back to a time not so long ago, when tire smoke filled the air, engines roared like thunder, and the competition on Street Outlaws, No Prep Kings, was fiercer than ever. Among the sea of monstrous machines, one GTR stood out, not just for its sheer power, but for the buzz it created on and off the track. That car? None other than the iconic GTR that once belonged to John Odom. But now, this legendary beast is up for grabs. That's right, folks. One of the most recognizable GTRs from the No Prep Kings scene is for sale. And before you ask, no, it's not still in John Odom's possession. The car is now being offered by Jim Howe of Howe Motorsports, and it's got an entirely new future ahead of it. Now listen, this isn't just another car on the market. This is a war-tested, crowd-thrilling, highlight reel-making machine. If drag racing had rock stars, this GTR would be the guitar that lit the stage on fire. It first made its way onto the No Prep Kings series around 2022, bursting onto the scene with a screw-blown setup that made jaws drop and rivals sweat. Even in a time when engine technology and combinations were getting more and more outrageous, when names like Pass and Noonan 49 were sending shockwaves through the competition, Odom's GTR kept it relatively simple. It ran a Croter screwblower paired with a leaner setup compared to some of the wild science projects out there. And yet, it held its ground. It didn't just survive, it thrived. Let me break this down for you. This car was cracking 3.70s in the 8th mile and, reportedly, 570s in the quarter. That is not beginner-level performance. That's top-tier, record-chasing speed. The car tipped the scales at around 2,180 pounds. And remember, Odom wasn't exactly a lightweight himself. So if you're thinking about future upgrades, there's definitely potential to trim it down even more and find some extra speed. And it wasn't just about how fast it was how consistent it ran. This GTR made more final-round appearances than some drivers can claim in an entire career. That kind of repeat performance? It doesn't come by accident. It comes from a solid chassis, a dependable combo, and a team that knew how to bring the heat every single weekend. Built to be versatile, this car has competed on both big tires and radials, and it's currently set up with a radial configuration. But don't let that lock you in. If you want to switch it back to big tires, it's fully capable of the transition. That adaptability alone gives it incredible value, especially for racers who want a machine they can tune to fit multiple formats. Now, you might be wondering, why is it for sale? What happened to John Odom? Well, let's just say he's no longer in the racing game, and leave the drama behind the scenes where it belongs. The fact is, the car is out of his hands and is now poised for a rebirth. This could be your chance, not just to own a car, but to own a piece of Street Outlaws history. Imagine pulling into the track with a ride that fans instantly recognize. A car that already has a legacy. You wouldn't just be another racer, you'd be the next chapter in this GTR's story. And here's where it gets real, friend. Cars like this don't sit around forever. You know how it goes in the racing world. When a well-built, proven machine hits the market, it doesn't stay there long. So if you're serious about racing, and you're looking for a ride that's got both pedigree and performance, you need to act fast. Get in touch with Jim Howe and Howe Motorsports for the full specs, and see if this monster is the right fit for your garage, or better yet, your winner's circle. I remember back in 2022, I made a trip out to Palm Beach hoping to catch a glimpse of this machine, but it hadn't hit the scene yet. I missed it by just a few months, and even though I never saw it in person, the clips, the results, the buzz, it all left an impression. You could feel the power just watching it through a screen. Now that it's for sale, man, I hope it finds a new owner who brings it back where it belongs. On the track, lighting up the scoreboard, and making fans lose their minds all over again. If you're watching this and dreaming of making your mark in No Prep Kings, or if you've always wanted to step into the shoes of one of the big names, this is your shot. Don't wait until someone else beats you to the punch. This is your green light. Hit that gas, reach out to How Motorsports, and maybe, just maybe, you'll be the next name we talk about on race night. Until next time, stay fast, stay fearless, and keep chasing that checkered flag. If you've spent any time glued to the edge of your seat watching Street Outlaws, No Prep Kings on the Discovery Channel, then you've likely heard the roar of John Odom's high-powered GTR tearing down the strip. But who is the man behind the wheel? The name Odom is becoming synonymous with power, performance, and a no-holds-barred racing style that has captivated viewers across the country. Yet there's much more to his story than just the adrenaline-fueled world of no prep. Drag racing. Born in 1981 in Twin Falls, Idaho, John Odom didn't grow up under the spotlight of TV cameras or racetrack grandstands. Long before he became a household name among Street Outlaws fans, Odom was laying the foundation, literally, for his future. With over 2 decades in the excavation and construction industries, Odom built a reputation from the ground up, mastering the concrete world one project at a time. John is the founder of HMH Construction, Skyline Homes Development, and Odom Racing, 3 ventures that not only showcase his entrepreneurial spirit, but also hint at the relentless drive he brings to the drag strip. His companies have been key contributors to his success, allowing him to build a solid financial base well before he ever turned a tire in the no-prep scene. According to the official profile on HMH Construction's website, Odom has spent more than 20 years honing his expertise in excavation, utilities, development, and construction. That kind of longevity in an industry known for its challenges is no small feat, and it speaks volumes about the grit and discipline he now channels into his racing career. While some racers spend a lifetime chasing fame in motorsports, John entered the scene with force, and he hasn't looked back. His arrival on Street Outlaws, No Prep Kings was like a thunderclap. Fans were immediately taken by his ferocious GTRs, bold racing style, and no-nonsense approach to competition. He wasn't just another racer trying to hang with the big boys, he was one of the big boys. It's easy to see why he's become a standout character on the show. He brings a combination of business-savvy strategy and full-throttle confidence, which has translated into multiple wins on the track and an ever-growing fan base off it. Whether you're watching for the fast cars or the larger-than-life personalities, Odom delivers on both fronts. What is John Odom's net worth? While exact figures can be tough to verify, estimates place John Odom's net worth in the multi-million-dollar range, thanks in large part to his years of business success. Long before the TV deals and sponsorships, John had already built a strong foundation with his companies. Excavation and residential development may not sound as flashy as drag racing, but they've made Odom a wealthy man. His businesses, particularly HMH Construction, have been long-standing contributors to Idaho's construction and real estate development scene. Skyline Homes Development adds another layer to his portfolio, focusing on building and selling properties in one of the country's fastest-growing regions. And of course, there's Odom Racing, the cherry on top. What started as a passion has turned into a serious operation, complete with custom-built GTRs that have become feared contenders in the No Prep Kings circuit. These machines don't come cheap, and neither does the cost of competing at such a high level. But for someone with John's background, it's a calculated investment, one that's paying off with notoriety, sponsorships, and continued success.